Oh, hi. I'm Andy, and I'm going to walk you through some introduction to using computer-aided design in the engineering program at UPEI. Now, before we get started, and we will get started quickly with the next video, in this intro, I just want to give you kind of a framework of where we're going to be going. So let me cut to my tablet, and this course is going to be part of really a lot of your courses, and so I'm just going to map out for you graphically where we're headed. So for starters, you want to do design. So you want to create things in CAD and whatever that will help you make really cool stuff. So the end goal is not to make fancy drawings or pictures. The end goal is to make things. Things that work, that is. And where you are right now is we don't really know how to get from over here to building things that work. There's a lot of steps involved, and your CAD instructors and your design instructors are going to be there to help you make these things. And this series of videos, I hope, will get you started at least using computer-aided design in the process, and then you're going to learn a lot more. So the way to use the videos is to follow along with what I'm going to show you, and then try doing what your instructors have assigned for you on your own, and you'll find that they're kind of related. I'm not going to do exactly the same things as you're asked to do in class, but it'll be very close, and there'll be definite connection points. Beyond that, the attitude that I'm going to show you in the CAD design videos is one of, well, try it, and then try it a different way. It won't hurt anything, and we'll keep on going. So you may have an idea. There's an old-fashioned light bulb we don't use anymore with incandescent light. And somehow that idea needs to get into a form that is buildable and ultimately a thing that works. Well, the steps to go through are many and varied, and they largely depend upon your personality and what you're designing and a bunch of things. But in the very beginning, you're going to be doing some sketching. And you're probably going to be doing a lot of sketching and a lot of bits of paper with various ideas on them. And based upon those, you're going to maybe build some simple models out of styrofoam or plastic or cardboard. And those won't be functional. They'll just be ways to get a sense of what's going on and whatever. And that will help you back to improving your ideas. All of this is really low cost and easy in many ways. It really is your own creativity, and you can do it as many times as you like. When you're working and getting paid a salary, your boss isn't really paying for expenses for these. You're doing it in your head, and really is not much investment. But then there comes a point where you need to get beyond this low-cost, easy thing and make something that's actually going to become a working product? Well, that's where CAD comes in. It's not the first thing you do. And that's one of the mistakes that a lot of junior engineers come to, is they think that the first place to go is to sit down at the computer and do things in CAD. Well, it's not really. You need to have your ideas laid out, fleshed out first, and then you need to go into the computer and build them. And the way we will work, and the way most people work, is something called solid modeling. But solid modeling is creating effectively something that looks cool and looks like a solid inside the computer. It's hard to get it outside of the computer and into people's hands. And there's multiple pathways to get there. One pathway that you'll encounter is 3D printing. And you'll see as we move along, I do an awful lot of that in 3D printing, and that gets you to parts that might actually work. Another way is to hand build. And you'll do a lot of that in our program, I hope, and you'll have things that work. There's also laser cutting, which is another very effective way to get finished parts. And each of these have different requirements for what you need to do with creating models. 3D printing, you can do that directly from CAD models. Laser cutting, you need two-dimensional drawings for that, and these would be electronic drawings. For hand building, you're going to need two-dimensional paper drawings, because you need dimensions of the things you're going to cut and build. So each of these are different outputs from your work. And we'll go through the CAD design process, and we'll play around and experiment with making these different products and different devices. Now, there's another form of output which is important, and that's simulation. And that isn't making a physical thing, but it's making essentially a mathematical model of a physical thing that we can then test using theory. And typically that's going to use some direct output from CAD. And a whole lot more. So, in summary, you're going to be working with computer-aided design. And the first thing are solid model parts. You will make up a whole bunch of them for various different uses. Some of them you might actually reuse, and some of them you might not. From those, you will at some point be making assemblies where you can make more complicated solid models. And at each step of the way, you'll go to different outputs. And the outputs could be any one of the different forms I just described. So that's all for now. Let's get started. The next video will take us straight into making your first part. We'll go through a few really quick 10-minute, okay, let's make a part, let's make an assembly, let's make a drawing. We'll go through that quickly so you can see sort of the tool, And then, after we've done those initial things, then I'll dial back and we'll go through slowly and carefully, really showing you some of the features and some of the things you can do in much more detail. So I encourage you to go through the first few videos, try and then do the same things on your own as your course instructors may tell you, or just try them on your own. And pretty quickly you'll find that you get more and more comfortable with using the computer to design things. So let's get started. Thanks for watching.